JuJu Smith-Schuster plays for the Steelers. Last night he had a big hit and hovered over Vontaze Burfict for about a minute. They suspended him for a game. So you're going to tell me this hit, that block, there was a block here. Right here is a block. That block is the same as Gronk's cheap shot, which also get a one-game suspension? You really believe that? Now, that hit may be illegal, but trust me, no coach, as Jason Whitlock said, is upset with that hit. Like, nobody went in the locker room and chewed out JuJu. That's how you play football. Now, it may be illegal. A lot of things in society are illegal. We're okay with them. You write off all your business lunches. Those aren't legal. Government allows it. The speed limit's 55. Even our law enforcement allows you to go 60. They don't want you to go 68. Okay, that may be an illegal hit, but it's not really in the NFL. No coach is upset with that. That's a real hit to a guy, Vontaze Burfict. So you're saying that hit is the same as Gronk's cheap shot that concussed a player? No way. No way. It's not the same. Not the same. So I thought it was compelling. Let's get into last night's game. There are times in sports when geography is a real advantage, obviously, right? Like if you were a college football program, you'd rather be a college football program in the South than in the Rockies. There's just more players to choose from, right? So that's an advantage geographically. If you're an NBA owner, I'd rather own a team in Miami or Los Angeles than, say, Indianapolis. Players would rather play in a winter league in warmer climates and more sun. There are times when geography can be an advantage in sports. The New York Giants and Eagles create great game day revenue. Jacksonville, a smaller market, is at a revenue disadvantage. There's no question. But think about Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. They played on Monday Night Football. The topography, the same. The weather, the same. The economies, mostly the same. Population, both have about 300,000 people. Metro, the same. Same division. Neither's a glamorous market. Same. What's the difference between these two organizations? It's not the great Rooney family. It's not the great coaches. It's not the great fans. It's not the better stadium. It's Terry Bradshaw and Ben Roethlisberger. That's the difference. They played for Pittsburgh. And between those two, they have 6 Super Bowls. That game last night, there was a reason that any fan thought to themselves in the second half, oh, Pittsburgh will win this game. Because it was a Hall of Famer against Andy Dalton. End of the first half, end of the game, the Hall of Famer made the plays. We want to credit the buildings. We want to credit the owners. We want to credit people that don't actually play the most crucial position in the sport. In 20 years, the Rooney family, as great as they are, and all those great coaches, Bill Cowher, Chuck Noll, Mike Tomlin, in 20 years, between Bradshaw and Big Ben, in a division with losers Cincinnati and Cleveland, they missed the playoffs 50% of the time. Big Ben last night, unfazed by weather, crowd, Monday Night Football spotlight, pass rush, even the terrifying injury to Ryan Shazier. Good news today, he has feelings, we are able to report, in his lower extremities. Still in the hospital, but the news is very encouraging this morning. So when you see these mock drafts that all these bloggers do, and even some credible people, if you don't have Josh Rosen 1 and Sam Darnold 2, crumple them up and throw them away. Nobody's taking a guard, a linebacker. Nobody's taking a running back number 2. Nobody's taking that really hot corner from the South. They're taking a quarterback. The only time Cincinnati, same weather, same economy, same topography, same population, the only time they've gotten close to Super Bowls when Boomer Esiason and Carson Palmer were quarterbacks. Boomer got to one. There was never a minute in that second half, not a minute. And I didn't grow up in Pittsburgh. I'm not some big Steeler fan. There was never a minute I thought late in that game, ooh, Pittsburgh's in trouble. I just thought, get it back to Big Ben. And by the way, think about this. It's not like Big Ben while he was been in Pittsburgh, has dealt with a bad Cincinnati team. They've had tremendous coaches. Mike Zimmer, as a coordinator, is now turned around the Vikings. Jay Gruden has done a remarkable job in Washington considering the injuries. Hugh Jackson, considered one of the brightest offensive coaches in football. During the Big Ben era, they've had A.J. Green in Cincinnati, and Chad Johnson, and Corey Dillon, and Takeo Spikes, and Justin Smith, and Geno Atkins, and Andrew Whitworth, and Vontez Burfict, and Pac-Man Jones, who's seemingly been in this league for 30 years. But the difference is Andy Dalton's 3-11 against Pittsburgh, and Big Ben is 23-7 against Cincinnati. That is why if you read a mock draft, crumple up the paper, go ahead and send an angry tweet if they don't have quarterbacks, number 1 and number 2. You know, I got to say this about Mike Tomlin. I want to go back to the Steelers-Bengals last night. I have said before, to me, the Steelers, I still can't figure them out. The point differential's awful. They've struggled against the Colts. They've struggled against the Packers.
The Browns.
They're all over the map. I just don't see them as a Super Bowl.
Lost to the Bears.
I don't see them as a Super Bowl winning team. They're inconsistent teams don't win. Point differential matters, by the way. Say what you want about the Rams. If you blow out like 9 opponents, history shows you number 1 point differential in the NFL gets to the Super Bowl. Same in college football. But I'll say this. Tomlin, after the game last night, did you see him when our former employer took the live shot of Tomlin in the locker room talking about Shazier?
I did not.
I thought he was absolutely great. I'll say this about Tomlin. I have reservations sometimes of his in-game management and his prep. It's funny, though, at the podium, he is an American football player playing a coach. Like, how do you land? Like, I've been critical of Tomlin, but God, there are at the podium, I feel like I would want to play for Tomlin.
Well, that's the whole thing, is the guys do like him, right? There has to be a likability. I want to fight for that guy. I would agree with you. They've played down to the level of competition.
Everybody.
I mean, the Green Bay Packers have guys running free. Brett Hundley has looked like a third-string quarterback much of the year, with the exception of when he played the Steelers. They were down 17-0 last night to the Bengals, who are not a playoff team. They were down 17-3 to the Indianapolis Colts, who the Blake Bortles just threw for 300 yards against the same Indianapolis Colts. So they've played down level of competition. Before Shazier got hurt last night, though, I think they were the unquestioned favorite to beat the New England Patriots. They have better personnel, and they could raise their level at the right moment. But you lose Shazier, and it becomes a house of cards defensively.
It's not the same team.
I think they lost the Super Bowl last night if Shazier is out for a prolonged period of time. And even if it's just a spinal concussion, which is scary, and I know Tommy Maddox, the former Steeler quarterback, suffered the same thing.
Yes.
The idea that you're going to come back at middle linebacker is different than come back at quarterback and play at nearly the same level. I thought that was a devastating blow. I think you're starting to see the light on Tomlin, right? Everybody has different strengths, different weaknesses. His strength is guys like him. He knows how to walk the walk, talk the talk, take the bullets for all the different things, all the different controversies, especially considering they got Antonio Brown, they got Le'Veon Bell.
If you haven't seen it, go watch the post-game press conference with Mike Tomlin. He was magnificent last night.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd, or go watch a few segments from the newest show on FS1, First Things First, with Chris Carter and Nick Wright.